Chevy Silverado. It's got the power you want and the capability you need to do the job, so you can get to the important work. Find new moments, find new roads. Get a $500 cash allowance on all 2022 Silverado pickups with a 2.7-liter turbo engine. Plus, unlock your code to claim $500 Chevy Cybercash. Visit ChevyCybercash.com today.
Hey, welcome back to the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Presented, as always, by Great Southern Bank. Great Southern Bank with more than 100 locations in 6 states. Great Southern Bank, understanding what really matters. Member FDIC. Also presented by Doak Propane. For all your propane needs in Polk County and surrounding counties, see the folks at Doak. Also presented by Bambino's. Bambino's Italian Cafe, home of the Quarterback Club luncheons every Monday at noon. Come down and join us at Bambino's Italian Cafe, East Battlefield and Lone Pine. And Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks. Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks sponsoring our Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks Athlete of the Week segment every week. And for this Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks Athlete of the Week segment, we go north to Harrisonville High School, home of the Wildcats, and head coach Brent Maxwell. Coach Maxwell, thanks so much for your time today.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for your coverage of high school athletics.
You bet. Coach, tell us a little bit about the season. 1-3 on the season right now, but got a big win here on Friday night. Tell us a little bit about how things are going for the Wildcats.
You know what, we're trying to find our identity a little bit. We definitely challenged ourselves with our first 3 games, out of the gate. Week 1, traveling across the state to St. Louis to play Class 5 MICDS. They're always a powerhouse over there, and they were able to sneak one by us, I think, there with a 15-10 win. But we come back home the following week and we play Maryville. They're a solid Class 3 team every year. We did some things well, but we also did some things not very well to kind of shoot ourselves in the foot. The following week, we end up playing one of our rivals, Pleasant Hill, just down the road, and they've got a real solid team, and they were able to kind of get the best of us there late, again, due to some mistakes, but they're a solid team. But finally, this past week, our guys, we kind of started to put some things together, but on all 3 phases of the game. It seemed like we couldn't ever just put a full game together. One side of the ball would excel, and the other one would have a letdown. And finally, this past week, though, we were able to put 48 minutes together and come out of a win on the road and hopefully rejuvenate, some of that enthusiasm and things. And a lot of that was due to the guy sitting next to me, though.
Well, your opponents for the first 4 weeks are 13-3 combined, so that's a pretty stout group of opponents there. With one of them having to go to St. Louis, and MICDS is pretty talented, and but. Coach, you've got a young man sitting next to you, Nate Reynolds, who had a particularly very good week this past week. Tell us a little bit about him and what makes him special.
He's a great leader, first and foremost. I mean, he is an athlete, but he's just a tremendous leader on our team. He had a great year last year as a sophomore, over 14, almost 1,500 yards. People have definitely tried to slow us down by slowing him down early in the season, but he's remained patient, as tough as that is sometimes, and still been positive with our offensive line and some of our other guys. And finally, he was able to kind of break through, this past week and really demonstrate some of the abilities that we're accustomed to seeing him do. But, again, it's not easy not being shut down, I guess, if you will, when their entire game plan is designed to do just that. But that's the biggest compliment you can get, I think. But it definitely, proud of him and his resilience and just keep battling. And like I said, he had himself a pretty good night the other night. So, and I think our kids appreciated that for him as well.
That was a good one.
Nate, hey, thanks for joining us here on the Missouri Sports Network.
Thank you.
And on behalf of Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks and the Missouri State Highway Patrol, congratulations on being named the Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks Athlete of the Week. And tell us about your night. The stats, 23 carries for 367 yards and 5 touchdowns. Did you realize that you were putting that many yards together?
No, we started off a little slow at first. I mean, we had 2 other guys score. I mean, but then after the first touchdown, I was kind of like, yeah, it's going to happen tonight. I mean, everybody on the team had just the mindset was different, really. I knew we were going to win from there if it just felt right. O-line, coaches, everything just felt right. It was a good one.
When you come to the line, or not the line of scrimmage, but when you line up and getting ready for a play, what are some things you're paying particular attention to? Are you trying to find the Mike linebacker? Are you looking for a safety? What are you paying attention to?
First thing I look at is the D-line. I mean, I like looking at the holes to see where it's going to be at. And then obviously knowing that our line, I know all their assignments a little bit, what they're blocking. So I'll go from D-line to linebackers, and then from there, I mean, it's one-on-one usually. You get past all of them.
And I don't need to know what the play is, but your eyes light up sometimes when a certain play gets called? I mean, do you have a special or 1 or 2 plays that you really enjoy?
I would have to say our speed. We're at a pitch outside. I like having the open field. Use my speed a little bit, and then I have to go with our veer play. To me, it's a run pass option or a run option deal. And I mean, if I get the ball in my hands, I feel pretty confident I'm going to make it.
Again, visiting with our Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks Athlete of the Week, Nate Reynolds, Harrisonville high school football, and head coach Brent Maxwell. And Nate, what have you always played this position? I mean, going back to maybe junior high and even earlier in high school.
No, I played quarterback. I mean, I moved up to Harrisonville like my 3rd grade year. I played QB all the way up until my freshman year, and then we did like a 3-way split deal, and then I did a little bit of Wildcat formation, and then last year, sophomore year, is when I went full running back, and it worked out well. Very good transfer.
So what do you do to kind of get prepared? You've got Summit Christian Academy coming up tonight. What do you do during the week to kind of get prepared for them? Do you watch film, or is it – and obviously you're trying to physically take care of yourself with hydration and
Right.
what you put in your body, but what are you doing to get mentally and physically prepared?
First off, practices are the biggest thing. I mean, you don't have a good practice, a week of practice, you're not going to have a good game. I mean, we've had a week already, like week 2. I mean, we didn't have the greatest week of practice, and I think it ultimately showed on the football field. But I'd have to say mentally, I mean, I watch plenty of film. I constantly trying to see what the defense looks like, see what they do. So I just tell myself that I can do it. It's a confidence booster. So just I can is what I like to say.
You know, as you look at your schedule going into the season, and just by the nature of what I do, I look at schedules and I'd like to be at this game or this would be a good one. When you look at your schedule at the beginning of the year, are there games you're particularly looking forward to? Maybe if it's a rivalry game, conference game, maybe you know someone on the other team.
There's definitely plenty of games. I mean, we got my rivals, Pleasant Hill. I mean, I always want to beat them. Last year, I fumbled the ball against a certain team, Odessa. I mean, I can't wait for that game just so I can prove to them that was a mistake. I mean, yeah, there's definitely a few games on the roster that I'd like to go show them what's up.
Very good. Very good. Well, Nate, again, on behalf of Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks and the Missouri State Highway Patrol, congratulations on being named an Athlete of the Week.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Coach Maxwell, you've got Summit. You're at Summit Christian Academy here tonight, 1-3 on the season. What do you know about Summit, and what are you guys going to have to do to come out on top?
You know what? We've actually had a lot of rain. I don't know what that stuff's called very often, but we haven't had much of it this summer. But we've had quite a bit overnight and this morning. But and being a natural grass field, you know, we just need to go take care of the football. I mean, again, football is a pretty simple game. I think we try to overcomplicate it at times. If we can block and we can tackle and we can take care of it, not turn the ball over, you know, you give yourself a chance to be successful. So they're a good team. They're sound. It's their homecoming. They're going to be excited, you know, to play us. And so we're looking forward to the opportunity to go and again try to just build upon last week. Again, it was a good win for us, but we still aren't happy with, you know, where we're at because ultimately we got a long-term goal and we got things we need to work on and improve upon before we can reach that. So this is just the next step in the process and most important game of the year because it's the one directly in front of us. So that's kind of how we're approaching that.
With the changes, you know, with regards to mission and teams moving up and down, did you stay relatively where you thought you would be, or are there new teams in your district? I know you're with Grandview, Nevada, Carl Junction, which is way south of you, but
Yeah, Carl's new. Most of them are pretty close to the same. We're really kind of on the bubble right now. Last year, I think we were the very last Class 4 team as far as enrollment went. With the changes this year, we actually bumped up, a few spots. I don't know. We're probably still in the bottom third. But with that being said, yeah, our district pretty much is the same. Although, like you said, Carl Junction's pretty far south, and that's a new one for us. But the Grandviews and the Nevadas and those teams, we've kind of been in with them for several years. So it's great competition, especially that time of the year. And you better be playing your best football when it comes to that time, or your season comes to an end pretty quick.
You guys, are you guys relatively healthy at this point? I know everybody's got bumps and bruises, but you're relatively healthy.
We have actually lost a couple players, just to some injuries and potentially even season endings. So we are thin at certain spots. Other spots we got a little bit of depth, but they do a great job of just persevering and practice. And again, I think it helps when arguably one of your best players is your best practice player too. He didn't just come in and coast through practice and then turn into a gamer on Friday nights. I mean, he leads by example and is a tremendous practice player and lifts extremely hard in the weight room. And so when he says, "Hey, let's get things cleaned up a little bit," they tend to pay attention. So, we always talk about you're one play away from, going from standing on the sideline to being under the lights. And we've kind of shown that, unfortunately, but fortunately, a couple times this year. So, again, I think it has helped make them, stay a little bit focused during practice, because you just never know when your time's going to be called.
You bet. Well, again, congratulations, Coach. Thanks for helping set this up and pass it on to your strength coach, who sent me the email, and we put it in front of the panel. It's like, hey, that's a no-brainer. 367 yards and 5 touchdowns on 23 carries. But again, congratulations. And before I let you go, Nate, I'm a mandated reporter. Do you wear your seatbelt?
I do.
Every time?
Every time.
All right. Well, hey, very good. And again, congratulations.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. You're watching the Missouri Sports Network at MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us, take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow.